In a world completely destroyed, a man searches for a peaceful home for himself and his family, which consists of his dog and a robot he built himself. That's why today, Finch. This is the story of a robotics engineer named Finch who walks in a devastated world with temperatures exceeding 75 degrees Celsius. He enters an abandoned supermarket with decomposed corpses and some supplies, accompanied by a small robot. When he leaves, he marks the entrance of the place with paint and goes outside to return to his truck. There we see the world now, ruined and buried in sand. As he returns, he marks visited places on a map when a giant sand wave suddenly approaches. He turns back toward his lair, but before he can enter, the storm hits. Using all his strength, he protects himself. He enters his house, cleans his suit, and talks to the robot like it's his pet. He showers and logs his entry as if arriving at work. He enters a room, happily greeted by a small dog, and gathers the day's rescued supplies, a can of dog food and a bottle of alcohol for his dinner. We notice he owns many books, ranging from literary classics to dog care guides. His little robot scans as Finch builds a new one. Before dying, he reads about human survival and transfers his little robot's eyes to his new creation, which is another bigger one with limbs that make it similar to a human. Because he's gone so long without human contact, he doesn't build it just for utility. But Finch wants to talk to someone else, so this new robot can understand him and stop when told. The surprise comes soon after when he adjusts the robot and finds it can talk. At first it's just gibberish. Then Finch asks for something interesting, and the robot shares fun animal facts. In their first conversation, Finch gives the robot key rules. Never harm a human, and most importantly, protect the dog when he's gone. During the conversation, a blackout forces him to go out and restart the generators. That's when he learns another storm is coming. They ask the robot about the weather phenomenon and learn it will be a superstorm lasting 40 days. Worried, he eats a can of food and heads to San Francisco, unsure what he'll find. Suddenly, his nose bleeds. Not wanting to waste time, he ignores it and finishes the robot's last details. That means teaching him basic things like walking and using his hands. During a practice, some robot parts fall off, so Finch decides there's no time to perfect it. He packs his things and they get in the car. Finch says that as a child there were fields full of crops and animals, and the robot tells him that a part of his head is loose. So he stops to check it, while the robot looks at some postcards that some relatives sent him many years ago. They prepare to search for supplies, and Finch chooses to go with the new robot, locking his old friend inside. Outside, Finch asks his creation to imitate him. His first lesson is teaching him that getting food for his dog is most important. He explains that a solar flare damaged the ozone layer, causing holes, which is why the sun's rays harm him. To protect himself, he must wear a special suit. They find a theater, and inside the robot is amazed to see himself in a mirror for the first time. When they leave, they use a bag of corn to instantly make popcorn using the heat outside. They see a tornado coming and try to take cover, but it's too late to escape. Finch anchors the vehicle, and they shelter inside the car. As the storm passes, everything clouds quickly. The robot helps Finn secure the car, and they get inside just as the storm hits. Then Finn locks the puppy in and tells the robot to hold on tight. Outside, everything is flying around as the car starts shaking violently, and the ropes holding it break, causing the vehicle to be lifted into the air as well until the tornado passes. Luckily, everyone is safe, and after getting out, they find a blown tire. With the robot's help, they change it easily. And since Finn realizes that he gets along well with him, he decides it's time to give him a name. After hours of talking, we learn the dog's name is Goodyear, and Finch claims he's not his, even if we don't believe it. The robot asks to be called Jeff, and his creator agrees. The next day, Finch wakes to strange noises. Because Jeff tries to imitate Goodyear to learn his language and be able to communicate better with him. It seems like he misunderstood everything that I said. What is happening to him? Finch then says the language doesn't exist and it's about earning his trust, not pleasing him. It takes time. Then he leaves and Goodyear keeps growling at Jeff, who stays back to avoid being attacked. And a little later, Finch tries to explain trust to Robot. He tells him that at his last job, his boss gave him a solo commendation, but he told him that all the work was thanks to the whole team. And even though he didn't get along with all his coworkers, that's how he earned everyone's trust. Jeff doesn't get the story's moral and keeps asking questions. Finch starts coughing blood, so he pulls over and steps outside. Despite the 61 degrees Celsius outside, Finch goes into an old restaurant to cough. Meanwhile, in the truck, Jeff can't earn Goodyear's trust and gets sad. And when Finch takes the puppy, the robot stays in the truck listening to music and drives the car, crashing it. His owner rushes out, trying to keep Goodyear from going into the sun to prevent his death. But now the car is too far away, and to get in it, he has to cross the sun. So he asks Jeff to look for the protective suit and helmet. But instead, the robot starts the car and crashes it again. I'm a magnificent driver. Finch loses patience and demonstrates how sunlight burns his skin, risking fatal burns for himself or Goodyear. Finally, he says he built him to protect the dog and should just focus on his job. They continue down the road, and Jeff is upset in the back of the car. Finch tries to apologize by teaching him to drive. At dusk, they build a campfire and watch the polar auroras forming in the sky due to the flare. And Jeff takes the opportunity to ask his friend why they don't travel at night if the sun is so harmful to him. Finch replies he can handle the weather, but at night, other survivors only seek to harm others. He also tells him that events and emotions will shape who he becomes as a robot or person. At dawn, Jeff hears noises coming from the truck and finds Finch vomiting. He helps him reduce his fever, takes over driving, and they reach a ruined city. Jeff follows signs to an old hospital, stops, and uses the old robot to gather supplies. He teaches him Finch's rules from a few days ago, then they go inside. Soon, Finch realizes their location and weakly tries to stand. The robot finds medicine and puts on a winter coat he found. Meanwhile, Finch enters the abandoned building as both robots search for supplies. The old robot then dies in a trap, and Finch sadly says goodbye. Using his remaining strength, he searches for Jeff to warn him about a trap in the building. While he blames him for killing the other robot, Finch faces another toad attack. They quickly get in the car and speed off, unaware another vehicle is coming up behind them. Annoyed, Finch tells Jeff to drive while he changes the rules. As night falls, another storm approaches. This stops mattering when Finch notices they're being followed and turns off the car's lights to avoid detection. He makes Jeff leave the road to escape their pursuers, entering a tunnel where the car is too tall to pass. So the robot goes outside to push it with his machine strength, and when the other car gets close, they manage to hide. But even so, Finch pulls out a gun for safety, although shortly after the car drives away from them, so he goes outside. Though Finch saved him, he still treats Jeff poorly until the robot expresses trust in him, convincing Finch they'll reach their goal. Calmer now, Finch recalls checking an abandoned supermarket and finding a woman with a 9-year-old girl. Both held guns, and the mother told her daughter to shoot if she saw anyone. He hid until just as they were leaving, another man showed up wanting their things. The girl was terrified and didn't know where to aim, so she started crying while both adults argued, and then she heard gunshots. Moments later, the man left with the supplies. By the time he arrived, it was already too late. He heard a noise from the girl's backpack and, opening it, found Goodyear as a puppy. He tells Jeff that hunger made most people killers, but it made him a coward, so Jeff shouldn't believe in him. Hours go by, and when they are 772 kilometers away from reaching San Francisco, Jeff discovers that the postcard of the city that Finch keeps was a gift from his father. He gets distracted by the other postcards in the collection when something suddenly hits the windshield. "I think you need to come see this." That's when they realize there's a butterfly, and Finch decides to go outside. Then he discovers that the sun is no longer harmful, and without understanding what's happening, he walks around the place and then sees another butterfly flying. After a while, he dresses to enjoy the pleasant weather. While they're talking, Jeff shares he dreamt about the three of them on the Golden Gate Bridge and asks her to tell the story about her father. Finch says his father left before he was born and never contacted him until a postcard arrived on his 15th birthday. That's when he learned his father was a soldier and bridge engineer, but never heard from him again. At that moment, Jeff gets excited and tells him that he must follow the path. Finn tells him he's dying and asks the robot to care for Goodyear after he's gone. Later, Finch plays with his two young friends but soon coughs up blood again. Before going to the truck, Jeff hugs her. Finch then hugs Goodyear, and sadly, it's over for him. The little dog starts to cry, and Jeff knows the time has come. He wraps the only human he knew in sheets and decides to cremate him. Hours later, Jeff is unsure what to do next, so he decides feeding Goodyear is best. And later, the little dog comes up to him with the ball to play. Then both friends continue the journey with the hope of fulfilling Finch's last wish. At the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, Jeff gains more insight into human reasoning. He leaves with his dog to find other survivors. Was this Finch? Comment on which movie you'd like me to summarize. Like, subscribe, and enable notifications to catch future videos.